Hello and welcome to Around the Wickets. It's another edition on ThePapare.com. It's cricket's weekly brief that takes a summarized look to this favorite sport of all of us. Now we know that Sri Lanka played Pakistan in the T20 series. We lost the one-day series, lost the test matches before, and Sri Lanka lost the T20 series too. Now the second game in particular was a very, very close one. Now I thought personally Sri Lanka should have won it. After getting over 170, Sri Lanka had Pakistan on their knees at 5 down for 40. But then that's the beauty of T20 cricket, where you can never ever predict a result, because all you need is 1 or 2 good overs for a side chasing or bowling for that matter, and a game can change on its head. And that's exactly what happened with Afridi coming in and really coming up with some muscular shots, and then it was up to the rest of the Pakistan batting to take them over the line. Now from a Sri Lankan point of view, it was disappointing to see the way Lasith Malinga bowled. Now Lasith Malinga for us and to the world is the best bowler in T20 cricket. No doubt he could win you any game on his day, but unfortunately Lasith Malinga was not really up there at his best, and as a result of it Sri Lanka succumbed and Pakistan did win that series, and they swept the board on this tour. They won the test series, they won the one-day series, and they also won the T20 series. Now the shining light or the silver lining in that dark cloud was the youngsters emerging for Sri Lanka. Milinda Siriwardena was outstanding. He batted absolutely brilliantly, and the other exciting young cricketer for me is Jeffrey Van der Sey, the leg spinner. I do agree that he shouldn't have been blooded in T20 cricket, but as a leg spinner he's always an attacking option, and he can win you games, he can win you matches, and that's exactly what Jeffrey Van der Sey did, particularly in that first game. He bowled brilliantly, and I felt that Sri Lanka should have squared this series. It should have been 1-1, and well, Sri Lanka should have finished this tour on a high as far as they were concerned, but unfortunately it was not to be. Pakistan winning quite comprehensively in the end, and that last game was a thriller. It was a nail-biting game. It went down to the wire, and the extra experience of the Pakistanis really won the day. So, well, Sri Lanka not winning anything in terms of a series with the Pakistan tour, but as I said, lots of shining lights, lots of silver lining in those dark clouds, and let's hope the youngsters of Sri Lanka will take them to the next level. The Indian tour is coming up. It's test cricket, but we certainly have a lot of hope with the youngsters of Sri Lanka. Now let's go across and look at some of the international games. The Ashes. Now how inconsistent can England be? You win the first game, you lose the second game badly, and then you come back and beat almost the same Australian side quite comprehensively by 8 wickets. Now what's up with England? How can they lose one game badly and win the next game so well? Well, England seem to be on a roll here. Now, what we need to really find out is, can England maintain their consistency? Now, Steve Finn was excellent. Now, that also speaks of the strength in the England fast bowling cupboard. They left out Mark Wood because they had to make sure that he's managed his injuries, and he was nearly not up to scratch in that second test. In comes Steve Finn, really bowls quickly, bends his back, and he ends up with a magnificent return in the third test match, becoming the architect in that England victory along with James Anderson. Now on the subject of James Anderson, we've heard that he's developed a side strain. Now side strains are issues that are always seen with fast bowlers, and these are issues that fast bowlers struggle to recover from. Now Anderson is definitely out of the next test match, which is played at Nottingham. Now Nottingham is a happy hunting ground for James Anderson, and he's had a tremendous run at Nottingham, and England will definitely miss his services. So Mark Wood might be the man to take his place, and then Anderson, we've been told, is looking to try and make a comeback come the 5th test match. So the Ashes really looking good with Australia and England battling it out, and I wonder, I sometimes wonder, can England really continue the momentum and win the series, or will the Aussies come back strongly? But this has been an excellent series, particularly after Australia whitewashed England in that last series in Australia. Now Bangladesh, South Africa has the monsoon made a force entry and tried to block cricket, or is the monsoon annoyed that Bangladesh scheduled cricket during the monsoon time, and it has just virtually washed off the test series between South Africa and Bangladesh. It's a disappointment, no doubt, particularly for Bangladesh after they beat South Africa in the one-day series, and they were looking good come the test series, and they could have really given the South Africans a run for their money, but not to be. Both test matches washed off, so nothing really too much to talk about. But did you watch Zimbabwe versus New Zealand? What do you think of Craig Irvine? What an outstanding, magnificent effort by Craig Irvine. True, New Zealand are not at their best, but then what can Zimbabwe do about it? New Zealand are touring Zimbabwe, and the first game when New Zealand got past 300, they would have thought, well, we are in for an easy win, but not to be. Zimbabwe chased down and won that game by 7 wickets, and the way they beat New Zealand and the way they really approached those last 3 overs, 30 plus runs, almost 36 or 37 runs in the last 3 overs. They brought it down to 25 and then they brought it down to 16, and then they really finished off with almost an over to spare. Craig Irvine was absolutely magnificent, and I congratulate Zimbabwe. The world of cricket needs a very strong Zimbabwe. In fact, they need 8 strong teams to play at the highest level. They need good test teams. They need teams to compete. Now that has been one of the problems. West Indies seem to be struggling without really having all their players. Zimbabwe, as we know, due to the economic situation in the country, is also struggling. So we need good cricketers, good teams to come through and challenge the likes of Australia, South Africa, India, and even England. Now when we have that, I'm sure we'll have cricket at its best. And also, I invite you to support Sri Lanka come the India-Sri Lanka Test Series. True, it's going to be a young side, but Sri Lanka will have Kumar Sangakkara for the first 2 games, and let's hope the Sri Lankans will have to give a good account of themselves in come the 3 Test Series, because India hasn't won or beaten Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka for a very, very long time. So that's it on Around the Wickets, and we hope you enjoyed it. And we invite you to follow ThePapare.com for all that's cricket, and you can also follow Around the Wickets, and you can send in your queries to #AroundTheWickets on Twitter, and also you can follow us on Facebook, and you can simply email us at the editor, ThePapare.com. Thank you for watching Around the Wickets on ThePapare.com.